entire week has gone by. I have washed my hair several
I
times.
washed this shirt. I searched the house for this shirt. I of
It's
all the
good.
shirts to lose,
It's good.
to misplace, this was. I'm like, where's my Bigfoot shirt? It was inside out with my undershirts. Would have
Well,
never found it.
wow. I'm glad you
It
did.
it was hiding the same
See?
way
Wow.
Bigfoot hides.
In a circle.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Sarah Noel activity, you guys. I appreciate y'all. Again, I am Sarah and I'm with Adam Nowak, armchair Bigfoot enthusiast.
That's right. That's right.
That means lover.
That's I have a lot of I have a lot of like stickers on the back of my laptop, which
Yeah.
I isn't physically impossible for me to show you right now,
Yeah.
obviously. But and it's I feel like a little bit of a not a freak, but like it's weird. It's my fixation.
Sure.
Um, I get into it. Like I've been into it for the like past like it's got to be 30 years almost
Uh-huh.
probably like or 20 something years, 27 years where it's been like a thing.
Hmm.
And I go into it and then out of it and into it and out of it. And now lately it's just been like I've been into it kind of like without
Yeah.
really going much out of it. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Does it seem like
weird.
is general um like interest in it like is like the it's the big does the Bigfoot community kind of is there a steady pace there or does it seem like there are does do people sort of flock are there like ebbs and flows of just like suddenly everybody's into Bigfoot and then like
Hmm.
then it's just like the diehards.
Interesting. I don't know. It's I think there are sometimes there are people who come along and are like have questions about it
Hmm.
or say I don't believe it, but why do you believe in it or something. I think it's the type of thing that um I feel like there's two things. There's like people who are like as I said, I'm a rationalist, so like I'm very much and I didn't mention this before, but I believe this is like Bigfoot's like a monster to me. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm fascinated by these things. Like they're not to say like they're evil or they're gonna hunt people, but they are 100%. If you encountered a Bigfoot and they wanted you to be dead, you'd be dead in a heartbeat. Like
Oh, sure. Wow.
they are very dangerous predator animals. But I don't know.
Cool.
It's cool, but like I think that a lot of people, believe in everything, and then there's some people who really are interested in it. I think it's probably a steady small group. I don't think it's so
Yeah.
many. I don't think it's changed much over the years. I think if something somehow some way we really got like super hard evidence
Yeah.
in that the world saw,
Hmm.
obviously everything would be fine.
Yeah.
But even then still, it might be people would think it's still fake,
Yeah. Yeah.
still wouldn't believe it because it's ingrained in us to think that Bigfoot is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like Loch Ness Monster. So again, no offense to anybody who loves Loch Ness Monster, but you're talking about a lake, like
Yeah.
not even a big lake,
Yeah.
a lake that has like this, a single thing like that,
Yeah.
or is it a breeding population of plesiosaurs like for 100 million years? Like that just
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, I'm always like whenever there's like a giant there's supposed to be like a giant monster or even like a even just like in a movie where there's just like here is this gigantic monster that lives in the desert where there's
Mhm.
no water and no food. Like how
Yeah,
does a gigantic
right.
monster survive?
Yeah,
Like did they survive on the one human that stumbles? Whatever.
right.
Um anyway, what were we talking when we where we left off, we were talking about personal
Videos and
we were
then
talking about
oh
yeah,
yeah, and eyewitness accounts.
eyewitness counts.
Because and that's like the thing that I think too is like the most it's the thing that people would be the least convincing or the worst evidence. But I feel that after you listen to so many hundreds of or if you hear or listen to hundreds and hundreds of sightings, they all begin to share elements but they're all not the same. They're mundane, they're brief, they have so many, it just the way that people tell the story, it's so realistic. And sometimes they get embellished. Sometimes people go on about weird stuff that doesn't have anything to do with their sighting, but it's very I really think that most people, if you listen to a bunch of them, you would really think that, wow, these people are really seeing something. And it's not a brief glimpse in the night.
Hmm.
A lot of times it is a full on, sighting. It's a full, like I'm gonna if you may, if I may,
Yeah.
I'll briefly tell a story that
Please.
one of my most this is like one of my most favorite stories. It's not it's a sad story, but I'll briefly kind of recount it. It's this woman tells a story about her and her friend, and no names are given in the story, which whatever. You can not believe any of these stories and take each one and say, oh, that's a lie. But you have to then say all of them are a lie. And that's, to me, that's sounds weirder.
Hmm.
All these people are telling these like consistent mundane stories and they're all lying. It just sounds that kind of is weird to me. But
Right.
this woman tells a story about when she graduated from high school, her and her friend went camping. So they were going to go camping 2 days by themselves. And then 2 days later, a couple of boys were going to show up. And this was in like Arkansas in like the early 90s. So these two young ladies are on their own and they go to the ranger station. The ranger laughs. You girls aren't going to last out there. Haha. So they go and they set up this huge camping. They have they've over purchased all this camping gear and they make this big campsite and they're going to go on a hike the first day. So they have no issues. They go on a hike. They hear what they think are voices in the forest as they're hiking. It's very strange, but they hear some sort of like weird talking. And they keep going, keep going, keep going. And then there's this one moment where this friend of hers like loses her watch. And so there's this period of like a minute where they're silent. And in this pause, they can hear what she said sounds like almost like backwards talking, like this like backwards, like deep backwards talking. So they're about to continue on back to their campsite and they're going to go over a creek. So they go through this path and they get to this creek. So, and they look, and right there, 40 feet away, is this enormous Bigfoot standing in the middle of this creek in the middle of the day. Now, she said it also looked like there were all these like rocks had been moving or water had been disturbed as if there were a bunch of them around, but they all scattered and that was the one that stayed. So he's looking at them and they're looking at him and he goes, whoa, whoa.
I just got chills.
And they are obviously frozen, not too sure what to think, don't know what to do. This is freaky. And he walks backwards, and the narrator is talking about how strange the walk was. Like I can't tell it like she can, but
Yeah.
the walk, I mean, they move differently. They're not people. So he walked backwards and then left, and she heard another one make a sound, make another like whoop sound from inside the forest. And then these guys were gone. So the two ladies run back to their campsite and are obviously freaked out.
Right.
And they don't even pack up. They take their essentials and they drive away. They leave everything there. And this is a very, very remote place, by the way. So it's not like some campsites, there's like you can see your neighbors, but here
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Right.
They get to the ranger station and her friend is like both of them are very upset, but her friend is losing her mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely hysterical. I said, there's a monster on the mountain. There's a monster on this mountain. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and she's just not well. They get back to civilization and they don't talk for the rest of the summer. They are supposed to start college, and the friend doesn't get to college, doesn't make it. They lose touch. And eventually, over the years, she finds out like her friend like descends into drug addiction and has some serious problems and eventually passes away.
Oh my God.
Now, I know it's a sad story, but this is
Yeah.
the whole thing. So she sees her friend's brother in the airport later,
Mm-hmm.
years later, and he says, "What happened to you guys on that mountain?" Because I that's what killed her. And she said she tried to explain it and tried to tell him what it was. And he said, I don't like that,
Shit.
but I guess that's what it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Oh my
She
God.
had such severe PTSD from this encounter
Holy
that
shit.
it stayed with her for the rest of her life, and
Yeah.
it eventually essentially took her life.
And she couldn't
It's
tell anybody. Yeah.
yeah, she couldn't share it
Yeah.
with anybody. It's that scary.
Yeah.
It's that crazy. It was that crazy.
Wow.
Now, again, we could listen to this woman's story and she's choking up the whole time, right?
Yeah.
You could sit here and say, well, she's lying, she's fake, this is a fake story, this is a that's if you can make that claim, that's fine. Again, you have to say that you have to listen to every one of these people tell their story and say, you're lying, here's how you're lying, here's why you're lying. I just find that very hard to think every person is lying. And that
Mhm.
story to me, it speaks like such reality and so heartbreaking. It's
Mhm.
like,
What do you gain from telling that story? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
all these years later,
Yeah.
zero money in it. There's no
Right.
recognition in it. There's not
Yeah.
anybody's going to run up to you and go, "Oh wow, I heard that story. That's crazy." Like, there's no book
Yeah.
deal in it. Nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just to me, the eyewitness accounts are to build a huge case
Yeah.
for the reality of these things. You know,
Hmm.
so wild to me. Speaking of,
Speaking of.
that's I know it's a little down. That's a
No, that's
heavy
great.
story.
I got chills twice in that story.
Good. But I mean, this scary stuff. But this is a kind of almost funny, but we're gonna watch it. So in one of the videos here, the eyewitness video, this is from Santa Fe, Texas, not New Mexico, Santa Fe, Texas news report. It's from 2019, and there are actually a number of reports about a chimpanzee in Santa Fe, Texas. But I want you to listen to the woman who reports seeing the chimpanzee, her and her husband. Seems kind of silly, I know, weird, but and also they throw to the guy. He's the handsomest local news anchor that's ever lived.
Okay.
Just put that out. Not him, not this guy. News
He's
news
handsome.
report.
He's also very handsome. These
Well,
are
he's
both
very
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 handsome
handsome.
people. Okay.
That's according to at least
Oh, I like
This
him jewelry.
911
this guy
calls.
is a warhog compared
She
to this other
spotted
dude.
the chimp in her yard. Jordy has an exclusive interview with that woman. He is live.
Oh, this guy's a chat.
He's AI generated.
Yeah, the game wardens do indeed think this is a chimpanzee. Lots of people have been searching for this animal since yesterday, and so far, it has not been found.
We've been talking about it all day. Like,
James De La Mora and his wife Patricia haven't been able to sleep.
Pick up that garbage can.
Shortly after midnight, early Monday morning, the couple was awoken by thunder, lightning.
I don't go to sleep because I hear noises at 2 o'clock. I still awake. I can, so and then I see through the window and I see this and there. A monkey, a big one.
She stood at her bedroom window, stunned by what she saw, paralyzed by fear.
And if you could pause it in a second.
Find something in there, and then he look over there, and then he tried to look over there and then close the curtain.
If you could pause it. So there's two things that she said here, which are
Okay.
very striking to
Yeah.
a Bigfoot, an armchair Bigfoot enthusiast.
Sure, sure, sure.
She referred to him as big and said did this with her hand, like the chimpanzees are not that are not big.
Yeah.
like that, like a huge chimpanzee. Yes, tall, but they're unmistakable, and you whatever. That's a
Right.
huge chimpanzee, big, right? So
Yeah.
that's the biggest chimpanzee around, a huge chimpanzee. And the way she just turned in this, she turned her whole body. Now, Bigfoot are well known to have, they basically don't have necks.
Yeah.
Like they do, but they don't, they are basically down like this, and they don't turn their head. They turn their head like their whole body, they turn their head.
Hmm.
They turn like that. And that's what she just did there, which I think is very interesting. Like, that's maybe very subtle, but like, are these people seeing a chimpanzee, or are they, what did they see? So you keep playing it if you want. Yeah, you can see how she turned. It's just, to me, it's very silly and subtle and weird, maybe, but I just find it interesting.
Look over there, and then he tried to look over there and then close the curtain.
Yeah, I would do
don't
the
want
same
to
thing.
see over there and see me.
I don't
The
want to see.
next moment is gone. But what made things stranger is what happened next.
Yeah, that some cars came by and started flashing lights. We thought it was the police, but no, it was just regular cars. I think somebody owns it or has it illegally, you know.
Other unconfirmed reports of a roaming primate have surfaced since Patricia's original report to police. Police say they can't confirm if the sighting is real, but they say it wouldn't surprise them if it's true. The Texas Wildlife Commission says its game wardens believe the primate is a chimpanzee.
Like a person, you know. It was big.
Today, the
Like a
company-
person, so you would never, ever
Not. You lurking in their-
describe a chimpanzee as a person.
You know, in the trees, you know.
And until it's caught,
Like,
they'll have little rest.
I gotta think it's still there, you know, until they find it. When they find it, we're gonna be in peace.
Members
Wow. Was there more?
no, that's it. That's good. That's
Okay.
plenty. But I just feel like, and there are numerous reports like
Oh.
from Santa Fe, Texas, in 2019 about that chimpanzee. People reporting that chimpanzee, right? So
I mean, a
it's
chimpanzee.
just
He's like a giant chimpanzee who looks like a guy.
a person. Yeah,
That's
you
wild.
never refer to. I don't think you would ever refer to a chimpanzee as a person in any context,
No.
unless unless it was a absolutely huge. Like you see some of these chimpanzees like in the zoos or in the not circus must be, but
Mm.
hopefully not. But these giant chimps, that's one thing where they're walking on two legs. But that can't. Anyway, I don't know. It's very strange to me. It's very interesting to me
Yeah.
that this could be a case of mistaken identity or mistaken the labeling it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting. That interests me. Anyway, that's like an interesting, not an eyewitness account maybe, but like that just is interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's also just like a wild catch because it's not like you can search for. It's not like it says like like someone saw that and figured out like, oh hey, maybe this is.
And
this is what this is.
really where, I mean, you definitely could, there are people who own chimps and they can like illegally, right? And
Yeah.
or if a chimp like was in a sanctuary or it broke out, like you'd hope that a sanctuary would know, oh, we
Right.
lost one of our chimps, and that would be right away like, oh, it came from this sanctuary. And but
Mhm.
like the fact that it's this mystery chimp running around and being
Yeah.
sighted by all these people at night, like
Yeah.
just strange. So anyway,
Yeah.
I love that. So that's maybe not an eyewitness account, but maybe it was. Maybe it was. Who knows? This I want to play for you. This next thing is actually just audio. This is one of the greatest things, creepiest things ever, and it's actually been used many, many, many times in podcasts like this. An opening of a Bigfoot podcast, they use clips from this audio, and this is like the whole audio kind of unedited. It's the
One second. Cool.
That's fine. This is an actual 911 call. It's one of two, and I don't have the first one, but the first one is doesn't tell you much. It content warning. It's about they do mention the killing of a dog, not in great detail.
No.
But this is very interesting to me. So always be one of my favorite things.
Son of a bitch is about 6'9". I don't know. You think I'm yes, I'm looking right at it. Uh-oh.
Hey, hang on.
He's like,
Is he smart, sir?
yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he in your yard?
He's looking big.
The guy is on foot.
I don't know what. He's big, real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, it is a person.
Somebody really big.
Okay. Okay, buddy.
But it's a person.
But it's a person.
You can't answer that. You can't answer the simplest question in the world. Is that is it a person? He can't. Oh yeah. It's a guy. No.
Wow.
Can't. He's black. He's all black.
Yeah.
That's
Not a but like
he's not dressed in black.
Yeah, it's a shadow, like a shadowy, fully non
But he is a person, right?
person.
Well, like that is
yeah, like
so-
not even
so-
shaped like a guy.
he and I for whatever reason I didn't hear maybe it was just the weird
Yeah,
audio.
I think there's. Yeah,
If you could hear it, that's great.
Yeah.
But
I'll drop it in if it doesn't.
Yeah, we'll drop it. We'll just put it in post.
Yeah.
But there's another call where he is, sadly, like he did have like his dog was killed like
Yeah.
weeks before that in some weird fashion, like I don't know,
Yeah.
thrown over a fence or something. So like, and that's a possibility, right? So like, I don't know. It's just that's just fascinating to me, like so in life, so real, and just he's experiencing something, he's seeing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild to me.
Yeah, that's scary, man. That's creepy. And you hear it in his voice. I mean, there's no reason for that guy to like be full of it. That's creepy.
What's he seeing? You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, if you can't say it's a man, I mean, I could see somebody being freaked out if a man was in their backyard.
Mhm.
But the fact that he's saying my God, he's big.
Yeah.
And he said, but it is a man.
Hmm.
You've got to be able to say, yes, it's obviously a man.
Yeah.
But he's very big. Like, that's not, I don't know. It just seems, it's so wild to me. It's wild. Love it. Creep.
Speechless. Yeah. So this is obviously this is a stupid question, but they're like tall. Like how tall do they get?
So that's a great question. So like, it's 8 to 9 feet is a typical witness size.
Oh, it's good.
Typically how big, which is so weird. Like, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like they might say, well, he was at this point, like I could see this branch or whatever, and then later measured the branch, and that was.
Yeah.
There are sometimes people say, well, he walked behind this truck, and his, this was where his hip was, and this is where his head was, and then then they can, but they determine it like that they're 15 feet or something, like crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think it's hard to imagine anything beyond 9 feet to me.
Yeah.
But some people do say 10, 12, 15 feet. That seems just absurd to me, but 8 to 10, and a lot of times they're 5, 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely are they shorter than that. But if they were, they would see we'd see that.
Right.
I want to show you a video I forgot to put in here.
Oh, okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah, I'll let you share screen.
Let's play. Oh, well, we can do that. Yeah. What we'll do is, I'm silly that I didn't, because this is the one video. This is my favorite video, and I can't believe I missed it. I'm not sure why I did that. So we're doing this. This right here. So we talked about the Patterson Gimlin film last time. That's like the first major video. This is the audio equivalent of that.
Okay.
So this was recorded in 1973 in the Sierra Nevadas by Ron Moorhead and Al Berry, obviously, Tyler. These guys would go out, and a bunch of friends would go camping once a year, to this real remote area. And wherever they went, they would consistently encounter a group of Bigfoot in the middle of the night. Now it's late, there's no lights, so they couldn't really bring a camera to capture anything. So they brought a tape recorder, and this is what they captured hours and hours, but this is kind of the best of what they captured. So it's 4 minutes. We'll just listen to it.
I'm hearing the whoops.
You're hearing something like what they call samurai chatter, maybe?
They went back and forth.
And people when they've encountered and heard things, they say this is what they sound like. When they then play this for them, they go, just what they sound like.
So okay, I'll play it off for a minute.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah. But and these guys, it sounds like it sounds like they have met up with these. They've heard these before because they keep they're shouting the things back.
Yeah,
So
they're like,
when you meow at your cat.
That's right. But that's just it. They were speaking back and forth to them, just sort of mimicking them. And a lot of times there's numerous, there's lots of people who say they hear talking. They hear people talking or children playing in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
so
nocturnal, you said.
Well, yeah, and so, but that's what it'll children talking to each other and laughing and playing. There's some often that's very high pitched, which means often it's very, very, very low, and these growls and hoots and stuff can be very low.
Right.
But then also it can be very high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got to the point where you heard it's like this, like that. There's this one, so it's just the most. A lot of times people say they hear women screaming as if they're being murdered. That's the word. Those consistently. That is the description of what they sound like in and it's just because that's what that's just the sounds that sometimes animals make. If you listen to cougars, they sound that way too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's very some weird sounds out there. But the big thing about the sound stuff, which I love, the recording audio, if you play it for an expert, I'm not an expert, but there are people who know every animal in North America, or almost every animal. They know what's out there. They know what sounds they make, why they'd make them, when they'd make them. And when they hear something like this, they go, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And sound experts have taken recordings from one place, then 10 years later, a recording of it from a different place, but a similar sound, and they put them together, and they look consistent. They look like the same animal.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. So the Sierra sounds are like kind of the top of it all. The next one is just a nice one. There's a lot of fake. If you go through, if you're on TikTok or YouTube, wherever, there's a lot of videos that play that'll be people freaking out over a sound, or it'll just be I was in the forest and I heard this. I think 90% of them are fake because they're just taking this sound and playing it over their video or whatever. But you can kind of tell, it's just, to me, it's just very cool and creepy. This is just I don't know, just a haunting call of the.
What the hell?
Yes,
Scary.
I've heard this before.
Hmm. Yeah, I would shit myself
Heard
dead
it too.
Yeah. Yes.
if I heard that.
I would. I would. I. God damn. God damn. That is so scary.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I listened to a podcast of someone, whatever, a story of a woman, of a person who was an expert, an animal expert. She was like, it's just an expert in exotic animals.
Uh-huh.
She was out in the forest by herself and she heard something like that very close. And she just wrote this whole thing about it. She's like, look, I've listened to tigers. I've been in, the room with tigers roaring. I've done all this stuff. There's nothing that this could have been. There is nothing in existence that this could have been that I know of. Like, it was just this huge guttural chimp, gorilla, lion like roar
Yeah. Yeah.
from the middle of the forest that I was very close to. And I believe experts. I believe in science. I believe people who, when they say, hey, I don't know what this is,
Yeah.
that's to me remarkable.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So my thing, like, I do love audio, like recordings. Like, that's another thing that really I love. I love my personal, the stuff that I really like get into are the audio recordings. Really make me, eyewitness accounts, audio recordings, eyewitness accounts, and like other things like footprint casts. The footprint stuff
I spy with my little
what?
eye.
Oh shit! Oh wait, what is this?
Speaking of which, for
So this is
everyone at home
this is a yeah, right.
listening in your
Is
cars
it
or in
backwards?
another
No.
tab. What have you got?
Is it backwards? Do I have to flip my audio? It doesn't matter.
I can't tell. I don't. It's a foot.
Does it say
No, it says it. It's fine.
it's
It says it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this is the 50th anniversary of the Patterson Gimlin film. This is a like third generation casting of Patty, of her footprint from that sighting.
Wow.
So when the sighting happened and that filming happened, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin made footprint casts, and this is a cast of it.
Wow.
And I mean, this is like, there's several. A third generation being that this was probably a third.
A cast.
It's not the original
Yeah.
casting, but on some of these, you can see, like, I don't know, it's hard to tell on these, but there's a mid-tarsal break. They talk about this thing where we don't have that. Our arch is one solid piece. On Bigfoots, they have a break here, so their foot bends, and that's something that they say if you had to build a Sasquatch, if you had to build something huge like that,
Yeah.
that's what their foot would be like. That's how their foot would have to operate in order to walk properly.
Right.
They also have like dermal, like this doesn't have it, but they'll have like dermal ridges here, like literal fingerprints.
Okay.
With the toe prints, like would be toe prints or the equivalent of toe prints,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, impossible to fake. I mean, this is huge.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a real Bigfoot.
And this is not like, what, I don't know. This is not a human looking foot, right? So
Yeah.
I love it. It's a gift from someone.
A lovely gift from a lovely, lovely friend.
So, but
His
those,
wife.
if you talk about the Bigfoot prints as well, like that's another whole other like really, really deep subject. And I can't quote every little detail per se, but I've read stories where they've sent footprint casts to the FBI to
Mhm.
like their footprint experts,
Yeah.
and they came back with either someone has been able to fake footprints that are look real, or there's something out here making footprints that are real, like that are there's something out here making these footprints.
Wow. Mm,
So I think that's wild. So I
it
don't
is.
know. There's some really interesting stuff out there with it. I love it all.
It's crazy. It's
Well,
crazy.
most of it anyway.
Did you have a video to
I sent it to you. You could either share screens or see you won't have the ads pop up.
right.
I'm only ever gonna have the
I got
ads
premium. I got that
because you
premium
got the
sauce.
creams. But this is my second or maybe even first favorite video. Whereas I'm not like a super huge fan of videos, this is one that I really love. It's really interesting. And if you were working on faking or making a hoax video and getting a suit, this goes to another level that's sort of pointless. Now, I don't know how where the video started from. Okay.
Oh.
Again, it does look like a person in a suit. So
Mhm.
this creature like walks,
Yeah, and of
dips
course,
behind a rock.
camera could not be shakier. So
Right.
it's walking. We're watching someone in the woods,
Bends down
in
behind a rock.
daytime, and we're seeing a guy we're seeing some kind of guy.
So
I see that. Oh, hello.
pops up
Hello.
and now has a baby in its arms. So, which for all the world looks like a real baby, a real child, moving like a child would in its arms.
Mm-hmm.
So here they do this again, only it's close up. I mean,
Yeah, little bit apish.
yeah, looking a little fake here and there. And then there's that, you know,
Oh yeah, look. You know what? You know why it looks weird is because they motion stabilized it.
yeah, but it's again every video looks
Yeah.
fake. It looks like I mean what's up with the
head? Yeah,
head
the head
looks
looks
weird.
interesting. The head is like
Yeah, it's got that
it's got like a
ridge
ridge.
in it, or what is
Yeah.
that? And it's
Wow.
very strange. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Stop the share.
I think that's to me like if you're gonna hoax something, and how do you would, and it's not really a child, like you wouldn't put a child in a suit necessarily, maybe you
No,
would, but like
maybe. Yeah, or like a doll. Yeah, but
a doll, but like how does it's moving kind of like
it's up on its own. Yeah.
it's up on its own, doing its own kind of, I don't know, it's just it looks more that you look at it, to me it looks real, but I
Yeah.
don't know, it's tricky stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I also feel like more people would if they were faking it. I mean, listen, I'm still like on the fence. I feel like if people were faking it, they would maybe not be as like, oh no, like it wouldn't be as like in the corner of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, you would hope that because then they've spent all this money trying to get it
Yeah.
right, make it look decent. Why make it look janky, right?
Yeah.
But still, so I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm into it, and I'm all about it. So if ever you need Bigfoot updates or even regular cryptid stuff, I'm interested in the other stuff too.
Yeah, please. I would like to, and I feel like the audience probably needs like whenever there's Bigfoot news. I think we should have like a Bigfoot corner whenever you come back.
Yes, that would be Bigfoot updates.
Obviously,
Weekly,
yes.
bi-weekly, hourly, whatever works, whatever we need.
Top of the hour, top of the twos.
Top of the hour. But I think things are pretty quiet right now.
Moose.
Is that a moose? It's just a moose.
All right.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if there are any other cryptids that if you want to tell us about, I'd love to have you
Sure.
back. That was really fun.
Awesome.
I really appreciated that. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. I like going into this, I was like, I'm not like, you and I, you and I have we have a lot in common with the things that we like, but we're like parallel where it's like with horror, you have certain horror stuff that you like, and it's like, there's not a lot of overlap. Like I'm very into like analog horror and found footage, and you're more into just like Victorian and like, you know,
Right.
you
I love found
cosmic
footage.
horror.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, like, whatever. But it's just like I'm just saying like we have
Right.
like, but
Real
so Bigfoot
interesting.
was not something that I was like super like
That's
but
fine.
after this I'm you may have turned me into a
It's
little bit of a fan.
it's an interesting it's interesting, and it's always it's interested me for a long time, and I'm still not bored of it. So most of the things I've gotten into over the years, I've like bleh, this stuff I've not bleh yet.
So is he here's the last question I'll ask. Should we be afraid of him?
It's funny that you say that. I'd say certainly city kids like us, no.
Yeah. Indoor kids.
But I think if you are alone in the wild at night in an area where I don't think that you should be afraid, but I think you should have some caution,
Right.
because just like anything else, I mean, bears are regularly, I don't want to say regularly, but they can kill people. They do.
Sure.
These things probably don't do it that often. I think if you encountered someone and you freaked out or something, it could
They'll protect
react in a
themselves.
negative
Yeah.
way. I really do. You shouldn't lose sleep over it, but I have heard some stories that are just bone chilling. I mean, there's some really, really there's some serious horror story type encounters
Mm.
that are just like crazy.
Yeah.
But not to say like they're gonna necessarily be murderous, but yeah, I think I would be very, very, if I was alone in the forest and they could be almost anywhere. They've been seen in all over North America,
Right.
everywhere. And I would say, yeah, I'd be a little freaked out.
All right. Well, if I ever go camping again, I'll go strapped.
Yeah, strap
I'll bring my Glock.
nunchucks at least.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Adam. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Oh,
Taking
this is
time out of your
awesome.
day. This was great. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. This was fun.
Thank you.
And thanks so much to everybody for listening. Is there anything you want to plug? Anywhere people can follow you, or
No, just
no?
I'm nowhere,
You're nowhere.
but except for here.
So,
I'm
all
on
right,
I'm on Twitter, not X.
would you like people to follow you on Twitter?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry.
I appreciate the famous recluse.
I really am not a social.
That's totally no. Please don't. That's fine.
I'm a lurker. Little like Bigfoot.
Thanks so much for being here, Adam
Yes,
Nowak,
thank you.
our Bigfoot expert.
Expert.
And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Sarah Normal Activity. Please like and subscribe. Please interact. Drop your information in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Please come back. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.